Okay, here we go. All right. So the midterm will be about, excuse me, about adding the space, enclosing the porch. We're going to redesign the main level a little bit as well as the upper level. Okay. So on the main level, the house is too small. Make sure all of the items in your project are on an existing phase. And then using the walls that are on a new construction phase, add 15 feet, a 15-foot addition to the north side of the home. Again, maybe next week I'm going to go through this, so I'll show you, how to make sure everything's on an existing level, how to add new construction, okay? And we've talked about it, but I think that's one of those things that's good to see actually done. This will mean that the living and dining rooms on the main level will get larger, as well as the upstairs bedrooms on that side, immense side. This will also mean that you will need to specify the existing north wall to demo in the new construction phase, allowing the main level to be open. On the upper level, your task is to redesign the upstairs. We have stairs, we have a bathroom, we have another bathroom, well that's a master bathroom, but a bathroom here, bedroom, laundry closet, closets, and a master bedroom. I want you to add another bedroom. So with this extra space, you have 1, 2, 3, including the master bedroom. You're going to add a 4th bedroom. You will need to add a laundry room. So make this closet a laundry room, redesign that to be larger. So maybe you have some counter space. Whatever goes in the laundry room, I want you to redesign it. The master closet and bedroom and bathroom need to become larger. So you have the master bedroom here, master closet here, master bathroom here, and I want them to get larger. Your task is to, I'm not going to tell you how to redesign it, you're going to have to figure it out, right? So maybe the master bedroom slides back into this corner, whatever, right? The laundry room takes the place of the bathroom here. Maybe the master bath comes up in between the new bedroom. Your hallway is going to have to be reconfigured, but essentially you're going to have to redesign the upper level, okay? You'll have this space right here because we're enclosing, or I guess you had it before it, right? But we are enclosing this, so there's not going to be a cantilever right there for the back porch anymore. Okay, the only restriction that you have is that the stairs need to stay in the same place, and so does the porch roof. So this porch roof right here and the stairs need to stay in the same place.
How does the bathroom or the closet get bigger? The master bathroom get bigger? So it's on the
well, you'll have to move it. That's the whole problem, right? It's a challenge. Leela's like, oh. Yeah, you'll just have to, figure it out. What's gonna work? I know. On the lower level, add the extra space to the north, enclose the back porch. The living and dining room will get bigger, and you're going to expand the kitchen so that it's at least double the size it is now, and it includes an island. So the kitchen's back here in this little corner, right? You're going to have to figure out how to make it larger, make it function larger, and put an island in there somehow. Okay?
Do you want us to extract the CAD file to Revit and then do the changes?
No.
Or do we do the changes in AutoCAD and then extract?
Well, that's a good question, right? Sorry, I said no, but that's a good question. So maybe you want to, use AutoCAD to make the changes because you think, hey, it's pretty quick, right? In AutoCAD, I'm great at AutoCAD. I don't have to redefine walls, etc. So I'm going to hurry and redesign my floor plan in AutoCAD. Then I'm going to link in my AutoCAD file and I'm going to trace over it with Revit, right? So lots of people work that way. A lot of people work that way. What's that? You can do that. Yep, that's totally fine. Or if you just want to work in Revit and you think, hey, I'm pretty good at Revit now. I can move walls around. I'm going to use Revit, to create this remodel. That's completely fine too, right? Your final project will have to be in Revit. So even if you make the changes in AutoCAD, they have to be represented in your Revit model, right? You get that. But yeah, if you wanted, use AutoCAD to kind of do preliminary stuff and then switch over to Revit. Totally fine with me. The bathroom, the entry, and the coat closet on the main level. So this kind of area next to the stairs needs to stay the same. That's the restriction on the main level. Part of this assignment is not only to make the changes, but to design the space with the new requirements. Make sure that any changes you make are coordinated through the entire model. Okay, that means that if you change the footprint of the walls on the main level, that your foundation walls, which we'll get to, right? We don't have foundation walls, but we'll get there. That they also need to move and align with the upper level walls. You know, if you move something that makes the floor move or the ceiling move, you're going to have to update those to reflect the new footprint. Okay. Things that are necessary, right? We have to have all necessary architectural elements to enclose and support the building, right? So not limited to, but because this is all I could think of when I was writing this, right? I'm sure there's other things I missed. But we need walls and doors and windows and plumbing fixtures and a roof and stairs and railings and kitchen components, okay? That just, if you want to redesign the look of the windows or where some doors are, you can do that, right? I give you the freedom to do that, just redesign it. Your drawing for submission, you need a main level floor plan, and we'll get to basements, a basement level floor plan, a roof plan, an enlarged floor plan of the stairs, and an enlarged floor plan of the master bedroom and bathroom. The sheets that you're going to turn in, you're going to turn in a cover sheet, a basement floor plan, a main level floor plan, a roof plan, exterior elevations, north, south, east, and west, and you're going to have an enlarged floor plan sheet that will contain, you know, the master bedroom, bathroom, and stair floor plans.
We're not doing a second level? We're not doing a section?
We're not doing a section. No, we're not doing a section. Not well, unless you want to. Go ahead. What did you say?
Second level floor plan?
Oh, I left out the second. There was one there, huh? Yes, we do need one. Hold on, let me edit it. Typo. Let's see. Basement. There we go. We'll just do. There we go. See how easy it is? Okay. All right. We're going to get to a few of these things, but you want to have room names and numbers in your floor plans, window tags, door tags, drawing dimensions. We'll get to some annotation things. Drawing titles on your sheets that are neatly aligned with the drawing on the sheet. A title block on your drawing sheet, and text notes pointing out some simple items such as toilet, sinks, bathtubs, HVAC equipment, built-in furniture, and window. Well, no, we're not going to do window wells. Never mind that. We're not designing the I had played around with designing the lower level, but I thought that might be a little bit too much for this, at least. It's a good thing we're going over this. Okay. Remember that these items are tagged in the view and not the sheet. For deliverables, right, you're going to post your Revit model to Canvas. You're going to create a full-size PDF, and you're going to post that to Canvas. So you'll have 8 sheets. So you'll have a PDF with 8 pages in it that you're going to print, and then you're going to actually physically print one full-size set of your drawings and turn them in. And that is on. Did we go over and look at the OSE? We did, didn't we? I'll go over how to print one more time. But I'm going to have you print a full-size set on the OSE over there so that you are familiar with that and know how to do it. When I grade projects, I look to make sure you have all the required elements, right? I'm at times forgiving on if they're exactly perfect, right? I get that you're still learning. But I do want, you need to have everything. I like to see that your views are neat and clean and you don't have any crop regions printing, right? What that means is that your drawing is centered on your sheet, right? It's not clear up in the top left-hand corner and askew, and your title is not off to the side and your drawing's over here, right? Your drawings say something about you as a professional, right? You want them to look nice, you want them to look neat, you want them to be centered on the page, you want them to be clean, you want them to be a scale that is not too big or too small, and that fits nicely on the page, right? So I look at all of these kind of aesthetic things as well as looking at how your drawings are actually constructed. I look to see that, this is again one of those things you'll learn, but that your notes are lined up, that your dimension lines don't cross over text, that room names are readable, and your drawing is in general very readable, right? Your door and window tags are in a good spot for the item and don't cross over other items, right? So you don't put a door tag over the actual door. You want it to sit next to the door so we know it's attached to that door, but we don't want it obscuring anything. And I'll show you examples of these when we get a little closer, but your views on your sheets are centered, they don't show crop regions, and the titles are lined up, and that all of your required building elements are generated correctly. Make sure your drawings are neat and readable, okay? Any questions so far on midterm? Did you have, yep.
Can we do the roof any way we want, any style?
Yeah, just do, I keep meaning to post a picture of the roof. I'm just going to say do the roof however you want to design it. Yeah, that's fine with me.
We'll do it as easy as we want.
Well, sure.
Standard there.
Sure. Well, you can do a hip, that's fine. I mean, at this point, you know, it's not going to be super complicated. But you probably will have 2 elements to your roof, which is fairly simple. That's fine. Yep. All right. So, like I said, I'll run through this during a class period, maybe next week, late or early the week after, just so you can kind of see what I mean by all of these things. And I'll bring in an example of, you know, what I want things to look like, but, you know, make them nice, make them neat, clean, complete. All right. Let's look at stairs just one more time. Okay. I'm gonna open up a blank Revit file. Oh, I should have had my drives scheduled. Oh, they are scheduled actually. Never mind. Mapped. Okay.
I'll see you in a day.
All right. I'm just going to do a few things that we have talked about over the past few weeks, maybe a little review, but again, I think it's helpful, at least, you know, it's helpful for me when I'm learning something. I like to watch somebody else and see how they do it, right? So I'm just going to generate a small little house plan here in a brand new file. I'm going to save my blank file, desktop, Revit project, new, the residence. Okay. Options, save. All right. So I have level 1, I'm going to have level 2, and I'm going to create another level, architecture level, and we'll do level 3. We'll make it kind of tall. Again, I'm not going to pay too much attention to making these things, you know, real to life just yet. You know, I want you to be able to see different scenarios and different heights, and you know, so these things may not be true to life. Just know that, right? I'm going to create another level, and we'll call it the basement. So there we go. Looks pretty good. Level 1, level 2, level 3, and maybe we'll make level 1 11 foot, and we'll create another level called bottom of structure. You know, I kind of, after doing this for so long, you just kind of know what levels you're going to need, right? And we will make this at, you know, 9'6" maybe. So this one's going to be bottom of structure. Yes, I would like to correspond the names. I will, a lot of times, if my system, right, this isn't what everybody does, but my system of naming levels, if it's something that I'm just going to reference, right, like bottom of structure isn't a floor plan. It's more of a reference level, but it's not an actual defined reference level in Revit, but I make it smaller case so that when I visually look at my levels, I can see, oh yeah, that one's just for my own, you know, bottom of structure. It's not a floor plan. Level 3, we'll do top of wall. Level 2, that's good. Level 1, and then this will be basement. Level 1, level 2. And then we will do one more. I'm going to grab this, I'm going to copy it, CO, and we'll make that roof. Okay. We may need to go back and add another level, right? That does tend to happen, but for now this looks pretty good. I am going to go to my level 1, and I'm going to generate a floor plan. Okay, so I'm going to come up to wall, architectural. I'm going to maybe do a brick wall. So brick on metal stud. That's closest to the wall type I want to generate, which is a wood stud wall. I'm going to hit edit type, duplicate, exterior, brick on, wood stud. Edit. So we have brick, we have an air gap, maybe even 1 inch. We'll just do narrow. There we go, plywood. We'll do a softwood lumber here. I know I'm moving quick, but you guys generally should have a good idea of this. I just wanted to run over it real quick here. Vapor, barrier, and gypsum. Okay. Preview it. You can look at it if you want to, and you're like, yep, that looks pretty good. Hit OK, OK, and there we go. I want this wall to go from my level 1, and I want it to go all the way up to my top of wall, right? So I'm going to window tile here, right? It's going to start at level 1, and it's going to go all the way up to top of wall, and then my roof is going to start at top of wall and generate up to roof. Okay, so I go back and forth. I've got 2 things on my screen, okay? So wall, WA. I would normally just type WA. But I generate my floor plan. Let's do, that's a big building. There we go, 40. There we go. Okay. Now I wasn't really paying attention to how I drew this, right? I'm going to change my detail level to fine. And I actually do see I drew it correctly where the brick is on the outside. I'm going to SD shade so that I can, visually see the colors. Looks pretty good. Okay. Oh, I did something wrong. I was explaining that I was going to take my walls from level 1 up to top of wall, and I forgot to do it, right? So that's all right. I can go back after the fact, hover, tab, click, right? I'm going to change this from base constraint, level 1, top constraint, top of wall. There we go. Okay. All right, so we'll talk about basement walls Monday. So we'll talk about how to create our basement floor plan, foundation walls and footings. Here is my floor plan. Great. So I'm on level 1 right now. I'm going to add a floor. Floor, architectural. Okay. I'm going to pick my walls. This is going to extend into core. Click, 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 finish. Okay, and I just left it generic for now. I'm not going to redefine all of my elements. All right, well, I need a floor on level 2 as well, so I'm going to go up to level 2, right? This is how you're going to start your drawing your model, I guess I should say. We're going to do another floor, architectural, click, 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 finish. There we go. So if I go back over to my elevation, I type WF, wireframe. I can see that I have a floor here, I have a floor there. Looks pretty good. Okay. I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to create a ceiling. So I go to my level 1 ceiling plan, right? And I click on ceiling. I'm going to do an auto ceiling. This is just going to be really fast, right? And that's the wrong kind of ceiling. I want, oops. So I'm going to grab it and I'm going to change the ceiling. We'll just do gypsum on metal stud. Okay. Close that out. I'm going to go to my level 2. Let's create another ceiling here. Architecture, ceiling, click. Oh, again, I didn't want that one, so I grab it and then I change this to gypsum on metal stud. Okay. All right, so I look at my elevation here that I've wireframed, which essentially shows me a section. So I've got my ceiling and it's right there, but you know, my ceiling is lower than my structure, so I can come over here and say, oh, it's 8 foot from level 1. I could leave it there, or I could align it, AL, to the bottom of my structure. Okay, I can do the same thing here. AL, we'll align that to my top of wall there. There we go. So I've got floors, I have a ceiling, I've got my exterior walls, we'll add a couple doors. No, I don't think I have very many loaded. So I'm just gonna put in the doors that I have here. Maybe this is the main entry door, right? Maybe there's one over here. There we go. Okay. I'm giving in. Maybe we'll just do a couple interior walls. Let's see.
Is that gonna be a wraparound floors?
What are you talking about?
Level 2?
Walk it out and just drop it down to the ground.
Level 2?
You're not-
Oh.
level 2.
Oh, I'm on level 2. There we go. Yeah. It's the new trend, right? Level 1.
Must not like the people you invite over.
Not very much, right? Okay. Let's see. So 1, 2. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to create a few more of these. Remember, I create, a lot of times when I'm doing things, I will create one item, I'll select it, and I will choose create similar. There we go. We have kind of maybe a bedroom here, not a bedroom, whatever this ends up being, right? An enclosure here. There we go. Let's add another door. One right there and one right there. Add one right there. Okay. So we have kind of this weird building, right, that has these weird doors. Okay. Something happened to my wall there. Maybe I just deleted it on accident. Click, create similar. There we go. It goes from level 1 to bottom of structure. Okay, so we can see my walls look pretty good. It's kind of looking the way I want it to, right? However you want it. All right, so we have walls, exterior walls. We have a floor on the main level, floor on the upper level. We have we've got ceilings on the lower level and the upper level. Let's add a roof. I'm going to come up to go to one of my elevations here and look at it. This is my elevation. My roof is not actually going to be on the roof level. My roof level is the view of my roof from here down. So my roof actually is generated in kind of this area here. So really it starts at top of wall, and then, you know, depending on what the slope is, it you know, ends up somewhere in between these two levels. Okay. So I'm going to go to top of wall, and I'm going to generate a roof. Okay, but I can't see any of my, you know, architecture here. How am I going to draw this roof? I'm just essentially going to draw it blindly unless I do something, right? I'm going to turn on my underlay here. So I'm going to come into the level I'm looking at. I'm going to go to base level, choose level 1 or level 2, whatever, and I get a ghosted view of what this project looks like. Great. So I come up here to roof by footprint, and I'm just going to, we'll do a simple roof and choose my roofing type. We'll do wood rafter 8-inch, asphalt shingle, right? And I've chosen a pick to draw my roof, and I'm going to use an offset here. We'll do a good offset, 4 foot, right? And we'll just draw. I'm just clicking. Whoops, click, 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 click. There's my roof. Okay. All of these lines, by default, Revit puts a 9/12 slope for whatever reason. I'm going to tab, select them all, and we'll just do a 412. Enter. Hit finish. There's my wonderful roof. Okay. Now I'm on my top of wall level, which means that my cut line for my top of wall is probably, you know, somewhere, it's probably about 4 feet off of this datum right here, right? So this view that I'm seeing at top of wall is actually where this reference plane is, right? So that's why it's looking like it's cut off. Okay. Let me go up to my roof level, which is ideally where I would want to see my roof, right? Where is my roof level? Oh, did I create one without a floor? Okay, we're gonna delete that. We're not doing that again. I don't remember unchecking that. So it was, the level was black, which means that it doesn't have a floor plan associated with it, right? So I deleted it because I wanted a floor plan associated with it, and I'm just regenerating a new level here, okay? I'm gonna call this roof, and there we go. So now I have roof over here, click, click. And again, I don't see my architecture, right? And the reason I don't see my architecture is because I have here, it's a view range issue, right? So that means that if I come over here to view range, edit, right? I look here, and I'm essentially with my roof floor plan, okay? Here's my associated level, right? Number 3, okay? My primary bottom range. And with my roof, I'm looking up. And anything above my roof level, there's nothing there. The roof is actually below my roof level, right? And so when I go to my roof floor plan, I need to change my view settings so that I can see the roof below, okay? So I have my top primary range, which is the roof, and I can see 7 feet 6 inches above my roof level. The bottom of my roof level, I don't want it right at roof. I actually probably want it at top of wall, right there, top of wall, level below, top of wall, okay? So that means that I'm gonna hit apply, I'm gonna hit okay. That means, now I can see my roof because I have on my roof level said, hey, I wanna see 7 feet above my roof line, because maybe there's something happening like a chimney or something above that, right, that I wanna see. But I also want my roof field of vision to extend down to top of wall. So with my roof, I'm seeing everything from this point to 7'6" above my roof. So I'm seeing this entire range. All right. Now, if I were working on a real project, I would probably move my roof datum down to the, the peak so that we could see how tall that roof actually is, right? We want to know that information.
23:30 seconds.
You don't like that number? Says you, right? So that in Revit, we have a rounding, it's just like AutoCAD. You can set your precision to round to the nearest half inch or inch or quarter inch, whatever, right? So right now it's set obviously to be to the 32nd of an inch. Okay, so our roof is a weird increment, but we're just gonna leave it for now. So we have a building, right? We have floors, we have ceilings, we have a roof, we have some walls, right? If I needed to make some changes, I could, right? We're just gonna kind of leave this as it is for now, all right? Okay, so we have some architecture. Time to add some stairs, right? Let's add some stairs that go from the main level up to the second level. I'm gonna go to my level 1, click, click. And here it is, and we're just gonna, I work this way a lot. This is why, number 1, I have a big screen, but number 2, I have 2 screens, right? So I can take all of my, usually I take all of my, my browsers over here and I put them on my second screen so that I have this entire screen to be able to view different things at the same time, right? It's pretty helpful. Okay, so let's just do the stairs maybe in this corner over here, right? Now I'm thinking to myself, oh, well, I drew that floor, okay. The floor is gonna get in the way of my stairs. Yes, that's gonna happen. There's 2 ways I can go about it. I can just draw my stairs first, and then I can arrange my floor and my ceiling so that they, precisely work around my stairs. Or I can make an opening in my floor and ceiling now to accommodate the stair and then go back and fine tune it to the shape of the stair. So I'm just, for the sake of whatever, right? We're gonna grab the floor. Or sorry, I need to actually go to the ceiling plan. Let's see, level 1 ceiling plan. I'm gonna grab my ceiling here. Hopefully I can, now I'm tabbing near a boundary. It's much easier to grab a ceiling at its boundary if it doesn't have a pattern than in the center, right? I can click, 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 click here all day. I can't grab it, right? So I'm also gonna look down here as I'm trying to grab that. Tab, chain of walls, tab, oh, there's my ceiling, click. I can grab my ceiling. I hit edit boundary, and I'm just gonna draw something. Trim, TR, click, 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 finish, and I just changed my ceiling to allow for a stair. But I don't just have a ceiling there, I also have some floor structure, right, that I need to edit. So I'm going to tab, hopefully I can get it from this view, tab, tab, oh, floor is generic, click, edit boundary, and I'm just going to draw this exact same boundary as the ceiling. TR trim, click, 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 finish. All right, so if I look at this in 3D, I'm going to shade my view, but I'm also going to just grab my section box here, click, right, and I'm going to drag this in. Oh, did I go? There it is. Okay. Another thing you'll see me do all the time, right? There's that opening. I make a move and then I go into 3D and I look at it, right? That's kind of the beauty of Revit, being able to make a change and then immediately go and see it reflected in 3D, right? It's very, very helpful. Okay. Time to create my stairs. Let's see, we'll do just maybe a little switch back with the landing. And I'm going to come up here to stairs. Where are my stairs? Right there. And again, you know, we talked about this yesterday. I have two choices for stairs, right? I have an assembled stair that generates all of the components of the stair wholly as I, you know, draw them. And, you know, it looks easy to do, right? It makes sense. It looks like it's easy to create, but I think in actuality, an assembled stair is probably the harder choice of the two different types of stairs. So we have an assembled stair and we also have a sketched stair. A sketched stair is a little bit more work up front, but after working with this for a really long time, I actually kind of think it's easier to use, right? It's a little more precise and you have fewer errors, I think, in the end, okay? I'm going to go with a sketched stair. With a sketched stair, we have a boundary, a riser, and a stair path we have to define, okay? We have also, so I have a boundary, a riser, and a stair path, but if I hit escape here, you know, I'm also going to have to define what kind of stair I want to create, right? So let me just hit finish here. I've got an assembled stair 7-inch maximum riser with an 11-inch tread. I have the monolithic stair and a precast stair, okay? So if I wanted to create a new stair type, like with different parameters, I would hit edit, duplicate, let's give this a new name. Let's make this, we'll make this 8-inch maximum riser with a 10-inch tread. Hit OK. So I've just taken that type, I have duplicated it, renamed it, now I'm going to redefine it, right? Just like we do with everything else in Revit. So my maximum riser is 8 inches now, right? And my minimum tread depth is 10 inches. And maybe my minimum run, we'll leave my minimum run at 3 feet. I don't remember what this, I didn't measure that width. Well, let's make it 5 feet, 5 foot. Now I have all of these other construction type options to define, right? What kind of nosing do I have? What is the tread material? What is the riser material? How thick are all of these items, right? There's 30 different options in here, and you can just go one by one, read them all, and kind of pick what you want them to be, right? I'm gonna leave them as is for now. The landing type, we're gonna leave this as a non-monolithic. We're going to talk about monolithic stairs today too. The function, is this an interior stair or an exterior stair? What kind of supports do we have? Are there stringers? Are they closed? Are they open? Are they non-existent? Right? And then what thickness are they? Right? We'll just choose none for now. I just want to choose none for now. We're going to have a force-filled stair. And then we have some graphical information. We'll do one middle support. We'll do that. Do we want a single zigzag or a double zigzag? We'll do a double so you can see what it looks like. Okay. Again, just going down every single setting in your new stair type to define it. I'm going to hit OK. And now I'm going to draw my stair. All right. So I have a sketch tool here. I'm going to choose to draw my boundary first. So let's draw a weird looking stair here. I might change my mind a little bit here in a second, but there we go. Okay, so the boundary is going to be the outer boundary of the stair, okay? And we're also going to generate an inner boundary. So I'm going to draw something maybe like this. We'll make it look interesting-ish. There we go. It looks like that. Okay. So my boundary defines this outer edge here. Essentially, my plan is to say, hey, you're going to start here. You're going to go up, 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 stop, landing, up, 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 landing, maybe, you know, step up, or a landing that steps up, something to that effect, right? I guess my point with this is you can do kind of some goofy looking stair configurations, right? The sketch tool has the ability to allow you to do that, okay? I leave the ends open. That's kind of the main key point with sketched stair. I don't enclose the ends. If I enclose the ends with a boundary line, it doesn't work, okay? The next tool I'm going to use to create my stairs is a riser tool. Click. Okay, I've got my line tool, and you'll notice right here it says how many risers I have available to create, or I need to create, as far as how my stair is defined. Does it go from level 1 to level 2? Does it go from, you know, the basement to the main level, right? And actually, well, hold on a second. I might have to redo something. Discard, yes. I'm going to change my top level. I noticed that and then didn't change it to level 2. Sorry, let me hurry and sketch that again. Oh, the settings. Let's see. Make that go like, this is gonna be weird. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna do my riser now. Okay. So my first riser I generally defined as the beginning of the stair. I come up and I define the landing, right? And you'll notice that it says, hey, you've created 2 risers. You have 15 remaining. So I just start to generate these however I want them to be. Maybe this goes like that. Maybe we'll do this. You can even do a little diagonal riser, right? How do you like that, huh? And we'll just start drawing these. There we go.
How do you know how many to like put in a small area? You know, you have like an offset, but
right.
But does the offset automatically generate to be like, oh, this will be evenly spaced if you put this?
No, you really, so it is a combination of code, right? So you know that you have to have treads a certain height and, treads a certain depth and risers a certain height. But then when you're designing the stair, you draw it out first and take that into account. So you say, well, I'm going to have this stairway and I know that I have to have, you know, 10 risers. So that means I can have 5 and 5 on each side, right?
Okay.
And then
it's like even.
exactly. Yeah. So you'll design it in so that it works, right? I'm just kind of on the fly doing goofy things to show you what's happening, right? But when you're designing, you'll take that into account and say, well, if I have, you know, 10 treads and they're a foot each, then I have to have, you know, 10 feet just for the run of the stair, and then I have a landing. So you'll start designing those specific dimensions into your floor plans.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've got, how many more do I have to do? Oh, I have 3. It's a lot of stairs. Oh, this is gonna be a terrible stair. Okay, so we've got one more. Look at these tiny little, okay, this is gonna be awful. Let me make these uniform, right? So I've drawn enough. I've got all of my risers accounted for. Now I wanna make them equal. I showed you the other day that if we go to annotate, aligned, I can, you know, sort of dimension all of these and they will equalize, right? Equal, tiny, tiny little stairs. It's like my house. Okay. There we go, equalize. We've got some more tiny, tiny little stairs. There we go. All right, so we're gonna come up here. We've got this weird diagonal and then we're gonna step up, right? Perfect stair for a goofy remodel downtown, right? Okay, so I have my boundary, right? The boundary of my outer boundary. I have my inner boundary. and it even goes over there. I have my risers defining where we start and where we stop, and my landing, okay? The final thing I need to, well, there's two things I need to worry about before I finish this stair. Number one is that I have to make sure that I split the boundary line where I have a change in plane. So where this stair, this landing stops being level and then decides to incline, I have to split that, and where this stair decides to, you know, sort of decline here, I need to split that so that it angles down. So I'm going to come up here to my split tool, right, click, I split it, click, split it right there, and we're good to go. Okay. Now I need to show my stair path. I need to show that I'm going to start here, travel up, go over, up here, and then over.
What do you do about that dead space up there?
What dead space?
Above the angle.
This right here?
Yeah, no.
This?
Higher.
Here?
Yeah.
Well, this is, I mean, it's not a real building. Nothing. You do nothing. Yeah, it's a laundry chute that'll be, it's where your mechanical, right? Who said that was the front door? Maybe the front door is over here. It's just a fake build. I mean, it's not real, right? He's like, what's happening there? So I'm gonna define my stair path now, right? It's gonna come up here. We're gonna travel to there. Oops, travel to there, and there's my stair path. I hit finish. Okay, looks pretty good. I hit finish again.
Why is there line in the middle? The white line.
Oh, because, hold on a second. Because I just think it was thinking about a railing right there. We were looking in the ceiling plan too, so it was just a goofy visual thing. From the back side, yeah. And it just looked goofy in that view, right? From the ceiling plan, essentially. It looked really weird, yeah.
What does the cut mark show? Like, what is it?
So the cut mark, this cut mark says, hey, let's look at our view range here, right? In our floor plan, because we are in a level 1 floor plan, we can see from the actual 0 point on the level, which is where our level datum is, and we can see all the way up to 7'6", okay? And then our cut plane is at 4 feet, right? So that means that at 4 feet, we cut this floor plan and we look down on it, and that's what we see in the floor plan.
Oh, okay.
So this cut mark is at the 4 foot mark because the stairs travel through that foot mark, right? Or through that 4 foot mark and go up. So we want to know they're there though, and that's why they're dashed, because it's an important element and we need to know it's there. All right, so let's go into our 3D mode. We have our goofy stair, right? That's even, oh, I didn't, see how weird that looks? I didn't split it right there where it kind of does a weird thing. So the railing's a little weird, okay? So I've got my weird stair, okay. One thing that you're gonna notice sometimes on your stair is that you see how I look here and I step up, I step up, I step up, right? And then at the very end of my stair there, I kind of see a line and there's nothing, right? It looks a little bit odd. I'm gonna cut a little section right there and show you exactly what I mean by that. We go to level 2. Okay. Right? So that looks kind of weird. And essentially the way that the stairs function, or you can define them, you're going to see a riser there, but you won't see the tread because you're going to step from tread up to the floor, which is kind of that next kind of tread, right? But you don't actually have a 2-inch, we've defined this as a 2-inch tread. So there will be a 2-inch gap usually. This tread, if you haven't aligned your floor exactly, you might need to pull your floor back, right? So you might have a little bit of weirdness at this top condition where, you know, ideally what I would do is I would come in and change the floor so that it lined up with probably the face of that tread, so it would be hidden essentially. Okay, so we have our sketched stair. Okay, so that's how we're going to create sketched stairs. Let's create another stair. I'm gonna go to my level 1. Again, I'm gonna delete this. Okay. I'm not gonna create an opening in the floor or the ceiling. I'm too lazy to do that today. But I'll just create an assembled stair, right? It's a lot easier to, you know, create maybe just a single slope stair that goes from level 1 to level 2 with an assembled stair. So I'm gonna go to stair, where is it? There we go, stair. I'm gonna choose my 7-inch max riser, 11-inch tread, and I'm just gonna keep my assembled straight stair, right? And I'm going to define going from level 1 to level 2. Great. And we have, hopefully we have enough room. We'll do it down the stair, down the hallway here. I'm going to choose how I'm going to draw this. Do I want it from the left or from the right support? Not that support, we want the left one. There we go. Okay. And it starts to, immediately when I start drawing that stair, it says, hey, you have this many risers. We've got a lot of risers. 1 remaining, click. All right, that was pretty easy. I didn't have to draw a boundary. I didn't have to draw treads. I hit finish, and there's my stairway. What's that? You're doing that? Okay. Again, it's deceptive. It seems like it's going to take less time, and it never does. It always takes more time. Let's move this over. There's my beautiful stair with my railings on it. So I just moved my stair, right? I can move it, I could rotate it, I could copy it, I could do whatever I want with this stair, right? They're actually not any different than any other piece of geometry in Revit, really. If I click on my stair when it's finished, let me click on my stair here, right? We have some annotation. I've got my up arrow here, right? I can turn that off if I want to in graphics within my stair type. I have this little arrow right here that shows me which direction these stairs are going. And I can click on it and I can flip the way that they run, right? So if I accidentally draw them backwards, which, you know, is easy to do, you can flip the run, okay? Same thing with this stair. I could, well, that one might freak out a little bit because it's got, never mind, I don't want to do that. I'm gonna undo, okay? But you could flip the stair if you needed to, okay? All right, so we have our couple of different stairs. These stairs are generally, I'm gonna just make a, they're an assembled stair, right? So they have multiple pieces to them. So when I say assembled stair, I mean that it has different parts, but there is a difference in drawing methods from an assembled stair to a drawn stair, right? But they are essentially kind of the same type of stair where you have a structural piece, you have the tread and riser, you have the railing, they're all assembled into one stair, but they're pieces, okay? You just have different drawing methodologies on how to create them. We also have what's called a monolithic stair, where it's going to be something like a poured concrete stair, right? And a monolithic stair is going to be different from an assembled stair in that it is one solid piece, right, essentially. So it doesn't necessarily have a stringer and a riser and a tread. It's all one kind of formed piece, okay? There's not a whole lot of demonstration on a monolithic stair, just because you create them very similarly to these stairs we've been discussing for the past 2 days, right? I come in here to stair, click, I get all of the same tools, right? The difference in an assembled stair with multiple pieces and a monolithic stair is just really essentially in choosing, you know, this kind of construction. We're not going to worry about precast stair because they are formed in the exact same manner. But I have my monolithic stair. Okay. I can hit edit type here to look at what it's actually constructed with, right? So I've got really almost all of the same options here, right? But they're defined for a monolithic stair. So I have my riser height, I have my tread depth, I have my minimum run. There's calculations going on, okay? But, you know, some of these things are grayed out. It's not showing a right support, although, you know, I could choose to put something there. But in definition, a monolithic stair won't have these things. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of leave all of these as they are. Okay, I'm going to hit OK, and I'm going to draw my stair. And I'm just going to draw, let's do a shorter, oh, I don't want to create another level. I'm lazy again. We'll do no top level, and we just want the stairs to be 4 feet tall. So we're going to create a stair that goes from level 1 up to 4 feet. Okay, so it's telling me if my, let me hit edit type again, if my risers are 7 inches, maximum 7 inches, then we get 7 risers. Okay, and that means that they're going to be 6 inches. In actuality, calculating it, 6 and 171 over 256, right? Whatever that means. And we'll just draw them, right? So I click, I get 7 risers, I hit finish. Okay, I go into 3D and I want to take a look at this. And there's my little monolithic stair, right? And again, you can see it's just the monolithic, it's all one piece, right? I have a railing, of course, that I can change if I want. We'll change it to a pipe railing. Okay. Now, with this, right, I don't, I've created a stairway here, but I don't have a landing. Let me close this out. So I'm going to go back into stairs. A landing, here's my landing. I'm not going to worry about support, but my landing here, it's essentially kind of like with the monolithic stair, it's like creating a floor, right? So I think, in my opinion, you could create a landing for these stairs, but you could also create a concrete floor and it would kind of function the same way. Anyway, but if you wanted to create a landing now, I would click on landing, and I don't want to pick 2 runs because I only have 1. I'm going to sketch my landing. Draw that. I might have to align it. AL, click, click, align, AL, click, click. There we go. All right, so my stair comes up, you circulate up, and I stop here at my landing. All right. In theory, since my stairs should have only gone to 4 feet, my landing, the top of my landing, we could make it flush with that, you know, that top step at 4 foot, or we could make it 4'7", you know, 4'7" to give it a, you know, a step up. Okay, and I'm gonna hit finish, and I'm gonna go hit finish again. Oop, let's go to 3D, and I've got my little landing, but it went up. It wasn't exactly. I'm missing a riser here because it's a landing and not a stair. I'm gonna delete these railings on here because they're kind of goofy. AL align. I'm gonna align the tops of them. Oop, that didn't work. AL. I might have to move it. Move it. MV. I can move it down wherever I want it to go. So I'm not seeing it because it's above my view range, right? If I click on view range, I'm going to make the top of my view range 6 feet. There it is. AL. Hopefully it'll align. There we go. AL. Looks like it's a little bit, I thought I had got it the right size, but maybe, nope, there we go. It's good size. There we go. Okay. So we have our monolithic stair. It's just, it's one piece essentially, right? We don't have all the stringer, the tread, the riser, all those good things, okay? All right, so we know how to create stairs, right? We know we have an assembled stair in drawing methodology. We have a sketch stair. We have a monolithic stair, which you draw and create similarly to other stairs. They're just one piece instead of having the 3 different pieces, right? Let's talk about how we can edit our stairs, right? So if I do something and it doesn't quite work, or I need to make a design change and alter something, let's talk about that. One thing, Allie, do you see how when I changed my view range, right? I changed it to,
It moved your cut mark.
it moved it up. Yep, see it's 6 feet now, and it moved it up to where that 6 foot would be, right? I'm gonna take that back down to 4, hit OK. Magic, right? It's the little things. All right, stairs, I think in general, stairs are a very powerful tool in Revit, right? They're not that difficult to create. And the best part about stairs is being able to cut a section through a stair using one tool, right? That's pretty magical in our world because stair sections are pretty difficult to draw. So that's really nice. They generally generate pretty easily, right? I think that the sort of weakness in Revit stairs is that they are not always, they don't always regenerate immediately, right? Meaning if I make a change to one of my stair types, it doesn't always kind of redesign it immediately and make it function, right? You were having that trouble. That was the trouble you were having the other day, right? So let me, I'm going to delete this weird stair out of here. And I'm going to delete this weird stair over here. Yep.
Before you do that, can you show how to modify that stair you created first?
Yes. Sorry. Yes, let me modify that one. And then we'll do that. Good idea. Yes. All right. So if I wanted to edit the stair, Anna's on a mission, right? If I wanted to edit the stair, right, I would click on the stair. I could hit edit stairs. Okay. And it brings me back sort of into my, my components here, right? If I click on sketch, oop, nope. Ooh, they changed this a tiny bit. What is that? I'm gonna have to, I think I might have to redraw it now. That's weird. Sorry guys, this is new in 2018. Oh no, there we go, edit stairs, no, that's right. I think I might have to redraw it. Yeah, it looks like I might have to redraw it. So, what's that? Will it allow me to go into editing mode that way? That's really, it didn't used to be like that. It used to, so if you are, is anybody running 2017? You're still in 2017? So in 2017, if you hit edit stair, it pops you right back into sketch mode, right? So this is new in 2018, which I don't necessarily, I feel like if maybe you create a stair in a sketch mode, maybe it should bring you back into sketch mode when you are trying to edit it. Anyway, so you double click on the stair, something new, and you just edit it like as if you're sketching, right? So I can come in here, and if I wanted to change some of my risers, right, I could come in and move them, right, make them kind of however I wanted them to be. I could get rid of that one, although then I have another riser that I have to generate before these are all sorts of odd, right? I can change my boundaries, right? We'll make that 2 foot, okay? Maybe I move this over just a tiny bit, MV over 2 inches, right? There we go, okay? When I'm done, I just hit finish. Hopefully I don't have any errors. Ugh. What have I done? Let's see. Oh, no, that's right. Well, I've done something now. Probably moving this middle. When you when you're editing your stairs, you have to make sure that there's a couple of things. You have to make sure that just like when you're creating a region, that, you know, for example, I have a riser coming into a boundary, right? You have to make sure that the riser doesn't cross over the boundary, right? So if this comes over just slightly, I'll get an error, right? And it won't work. If this doesn't quite meet, I will get an error and it won't work, right? I'm going to say in general, I can kind of move things around and you know, they kind of follow one another because they, you know, Revit is smart and somewhat knows that if I move something, then if all of these lines are overlapping that boundary, then it won't work. So, you know, they somewhat follow each other, right? But you have to be really careful when you're drawing these things so that they get, they're exactly perfect. Otherwise you get an error, right? So can't create run with this sketch. So, oh, there it is up there. Okay. It's like, where's my error? So I moved this inner boundary, right? And it caused that condition to happen. And there's probably, you just have to, oh, maybe right there. Yep, there's 1, 2. Okay, hopefully that'll work. But this is a goofy stair again. You know, when you have straight runs of stairs or just kind of normal runs of stairs, you don't get these problems. Let's see if that fixed it. Okay, but I hit finish. There we go, right? So I was able to edit it and finish it. But if you get those errors, I'm gonna double click, right? If you get those errors, just kind of look around and see if you have crossing lines that don't make sense, or if your run doesn't quite meet right here, right? You'll just wanna fix everything. Make that straight, hit finish, there we go. So that's how you're gonna edit, essentially, yeah. Again, one of the weaknesses of stairs is that they don't always automatically update, right? So if I have to change the riser height or the tread depth or, you know, something like that, that will, in essence, make Revit recalculate the height of my risers, right? Or the depth of my treads or how long the run is, it doesn't always generate it immediately. So sometimes you will have to delete a stair and you will have to redraw it, right? So right now, as this stair is, you know, it comes up and it meets my second level, but if I were to click on it and, oops, yeah, that is finished. Let me click on this one, for example. We'll use this one because it's a little more simple. I'm going to do a quick section through it. Click, click. All right. Here's my stair, right? I'm going to draw a little reference plane. Okay, RP at my top step. With this said, watch it fix itself because I'm lecturing here, right? But in general, if I were to take this stair and I were to say, well, I wanted to go from level 1 to level, you know, to 4 feet above there, but I'm going to hit edit type. And, you know, instead of this being 7 inches, I want it to be 4 inches, right? So I get more risers out of that. I hit OK. And you know, generally you would think that that should regenerate, but do you see, how many did I have? No, I didn't even, 1, 2, let's undo that. Nope, that stayed the same, right? So I changed the riser parameters and it still stayed the same. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Let me hit edit type. Let's do, oh, maximum riser height, 4 inches. There we go. And it tells me here, it says the actual riser height is greater than the maximum riser height. So, you know, it's basically Revit is telling me, hey, you've changed something, and now in this stair type, you know, there are different defining things than this actual stair was built with. And it doesn't update it, but it lets you know. And so in this case, in my mind, it would make sense if Revit would just update it, right? It can update a lot of other things, but it won't. So if you have to change the parameters, then, you know, you need to redraw the stair. Changing the parameters meaning if I redefine the stair height or the tread depth to make it a longer stair, or even if I change the stair definition. So meaning from level 1 to level 2, right? If I change it from level 1 to bottom of structure and it needs to recalculate that height, I won't get a real-time regeneration of my stair, right? And that's, you were running into that yesterday, and you're essentially the answer is you just kind of have to redraw the stair, right? Okay. Any questions so far on stairs?
I always have a question right now.
That's okay. That's good.
So, I remember in the last assignment, I can't remember, it was like ceilings, floors, and then roof.
Right.
And there wasn't like instructions for roof, so I just didn't put one on because I'm like, I'm just gonna have to delete this thing and then redo it.
Right. We just yeah, somebody just asked about that, and I said just design the roof however you want it to be. Yeah, make it easy.
Okay.
Right. So with the assignment for stairs, you weren't here. I assigned the midterm. And I'm not going to give you an assignment for stairs. I just want you to add the stairs to the midterm, right? I think for the next few weeks while you're working on your midterm, I'm not going to give you extra assignments on top of that. So I won't, you know, when we talk about annotation or whatever, I'm not going to give you an annotation assignment. I'm just going to say apply the annotation assignment to your midterm and add annotation to your midterm. So for stairs, I do want you to create stairs in your midterm project, okay? And I'll let you design them. You're redesigning the house that you're working on. You're adding some space and redesigning walls and things. And so just define the stairs how you want them to be. Okay. Yep.
If you delete railings, would you want to put railings on the wall? Is that part of the stair component, or is that a different component?
So so railings are a little bit tricky, right? Whether it's right or wrong, okay? I'll tell you how I work with railings kind of in like in the real world, right? Okay, let me get into a floor plan here. Oh, I am in a floor plan. Here, this floor plan. You know, I'm going to open up our other one, even though it's not functioning very well for me anymore. It's at least a house. Right, main level. Here we go. Okay. There's a lot of advice on stairs, right? When you're generating stairs, so we'll talk about the railings, but you know, when we look in floor plan view, right, we have our cut line and then everything above that is dashed, right? So it is what it is. If I change my view range, right, I can make that 4 foot, then my cut line changes. When you're generating your stairs, a couple things you want to remember when you're drawing them, right? When I go into my sketch mode, usually I'm thinking, hey, I'm going to draw my stairs. I'm going to define the boundary at my walls, right? But when you do that, and if you have a stair type that has stringers that go past, you know, the actual boundary of the stair, right? Then your stringers might end up in your walls, and then your railings might end up in your walls, right? So, you know, you're going to end up finding these things out as you start drawing stairs, but just a couple warnings, right? Usually when I'm drawing, I will draw the stair a little bit smaller than it needs to be, and then once I see the extent of, you know, the design and how I've defined it, I'll go back and I'll revise it, right? Which is kind of how Revit works. You create something and then you revise it, right? Whether it's good or bad. In AutoCAD, you always try and generate things first the first time, right? So we get into that habit. But in Revit, you generate things and then you go back and you revisit them. So if you draw your boundary and your stringers end up in your wall, then you're likely going to have to go back in and you're going to edit your stair again, okay? As far as railings go, right? So, you know, in a residential application, you're not likely going to have the stairs be mounted on the, I mean, I guess now things are different, I guess. But a lot of times you want to have your railings on the wall, right? You don't want to have, you know, these, what are those called? The horizontal, not the handrail, the balsters, I guess, or intermediate members, right? Taking up space or being on the stair. You want it on the wall. It's really kind of, it's not difficult, but it doesn't always look right in Revit. Railings are just not quite there in Revit, I don't think. The only way that you're going to get one to appear as if it is on the wall is essentially to edit the railing type and to delete all these other members except for the top railing, right? I'll show you quickly without going into too much explanation how that works, right? I'm going to click on my railing, and under my railing type, I have a guardrail pipe. Okay, so just like anything else in Revit, if I want to alter this one, I'm going to copy it, I'm going to redefine it, and then rename it and then redefine it. Okay, so I hit edit type, I'm going to duplicate, I'm just going to call this wall rail, and hit OK. It gets a little complicated, so I'll just show you and then I'll let you play around with it. But I'm going to, for my, the railings, the way that they work is, let me show you, they have a rail structure, so I'm going to hit edit. And basically this works with a system of, I guess kind of like sweeps, if you're familiar with 3D, where you have a little circle profile that follows a path. So the path for our little circle profile goes from here, down, down a little bit, over, down, down, right? So that's how my circle profile works. And within this railing, we have 7 of them defined, okay? So we've got, let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay? So we have all of those. So railing number 1 is, I'm going to be the top railing. Railing number 2 is going to be, see how it says the top rail is at 3 foot, so that's my top rail. My railing number 2 is at 2'7", that one, 2'2", 1'9". So essentially to get just that top railing, I'm gonna have to delete the rest of these railings, right? So I'm gonna hit delete, 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 apply. Hopefully it regenerates over here. Okay. I'm going to do that first step, and okay, so that worked, right? Now this type is different than that type over there, right? I've given this a new, this one is called guardrail pipe, and this one is called wall rail, right? All right, so I didn't quite get everything I needed to, so I'm going to hit edit type now. So I've got my rails. Oh, sorry, the handrail is that top rail. I was wrong. I'm going to delete that last one. Delete. Okay. Okay. So now I just have my top rail, and I've got my verticals, and I've got my guardrail. So I'm going to edit that again. And I don't have, oh, yep. I've got these intermediate posts that I'm going to get rid of. So sorry guys, this is complicated. Let's see. Round 1 inch. Break pattern at end segments, beginning and end. Okay, so that might not be the one we want. All right. 0, 0, 0. Use top rail. Yes, so we have a top rail. I need to find my guardrail now. Really, when I'm doing this, I just kind of weave my way through it, honestly, and I find the pieces that I know I don't want. And I look, I'm going to hit OK. Okay, so I got rid of those. Edit type. And I've got my lining adjustment, angle joins. Yep, yep. Use a top rail. Yes, height. Yes, circular. Yes, handrail one position left. Circular. Okay. None. There we go. Okay. I do need to get rid of these verticals here, but essentially I'm just going in there and getting rid of the pieces I don't need, right? So I've got some more verticals I need to get rid of. None. And what's difficult about this is that some of them you delete them and some of them you put none, right? And I got rid of that now. And I've got my railing. Okay. It looks better. It looks better. Now this railing, right, I've defined it with just a top rail. So it is, what's that?
Can you match that one railing to the other railing?
You can, yep. So I can just grab this and I can change it to wall rail and it's the same. Yep.
Sky hooks.
There you go, right? We use force fields at our house. So you're looking at it and you're like, okay, that's looking better, right? In 3D. If I go into my main level floor plan, right? Looks good. Okay. What is bothering me, right, though, is that the railing is probably going to come up to here and it's going to stop. We're not going to have this piece here, and then we're going to have another one that goes up there, right? And so, you know, what I need to do now is grab the railing and hit edit path. And I need to get rid of the pieces that I don't need. And you're thinking, well, I need that piece over there, right? But railings can only be created in one continuous length. So I can't have one length here and then have another length over here. It won't work. So when I'm doing this, I have to create one and then create another one and then create one here and then create one here, right? Did you see?
It's a lot of work for railings.
Right? That was my, right? I said, they seem wonderful at first. You're like, wow, look, they generate, these railings are amazing. I don't have to draw them in my sections. And then you start working with them. And you're like, wait, this is way more work than just using lines to draw them, you know? Yeah. So I hit finish and I go into 3D and I've got my little railing. So basically all that work to get one tiny little railing, right? So I'm going to go back into my, I guess I say that, I shouldn't say that, because once you have it, the system kind of worked out, this, you know, when I'm quick at it, it takes me all of 3 or 4 minutes to do it, right? And it is helpful and it shows up in my sections correctly and it's great, I guess. Sometimes. Finish, go into 3D again, right? So things are starting maybe to look the way you want them to. Okay. And then you would, you know, you would create some new railings down here, right? So I would go into, here's the other it may or may not happen, but another problem with railings is that they are hosted. They're hosted elements, right? They are hosted to a stair. And they're hosted to a stair whether or not they have vertical elements associated with them, right? So if they have a post or they don't have a post, it doesn't really matter. They're still hosted to a stair. So I can come up here, I can grab a railing, I can give an offset of, 4 inches, and I could draw a railing from here to there. I'm gonna move that back over, NV. There's my railing. Hit finish. Okay, I've got my railing. I need to host it to my stair. A big problem I always have with people, like new students, right? They're using Revit and you generally know what you're doing, right? You know you have to create a stair. You know you have to create a railing. You know the railing is hosted to an element. You know that, I have to draw one continuous line. I can't create non-continuous segments in a railing. Then you get to the hosting part and it all falls apart, right? You draw the railing and you can't get it to host to the stair, right? Number one problem. So it just happens a lot. I can grab this, I can copy it, CO, right, wherever I want it to be. There we go, 3D again. And, oh, we were lucky this time and it hosted to the stair, right? So there's kind of my railings. And it doesn't look super beautiful in 3D, but you know what? We're not usually viewing our models in 3D. We're viewing them in section or we're viewing them in floor plan view, right? And so it's representing what it needs to represent in floor plan view, right? And so it's okay. And if I do a section, if I create a section here, and I look at it, right, I'm seeing sort of what I need to see. And even, in my opinion with this kind of thing, especially with commercial stairs that are super complicated, right, at least it's giving me kind of an indication as to where these things need to be, right? Sorry, I don't know what that is. So if I needed to recreate these with line work to make them look exactly how I wanted them to look, I could do that, right? So I could come in here with, well, you don't know how to use detail lines yet, but you will eventually. I could come in here and I could kind of draw them in very easily and have an indication of where they needed to be. Okay. All right, any more questions on stairs? My best advice on stairs, make them as simple as possible, right? Make your railings as simple as possible. Get rid of as many cluttery elements as you can, because the more stuff that is in stairs, the more they don't work, and the worse they look in plan and elevation and section, right? So make them really simple, okay? All right. Again, I'm not going to be assigning any more homework other than just the midterm, so get going on the midterm. We're going to start talking about some annotation next week, and we'll talk about how to create basement walls, foundation walls, and footings next week. So that's probably what will happen. So Monday, I'll talk about foundations and footings. We'll do basement level plans. On Wednesday, I'll plan on doing some annotation, like dimensions, things like that. And then on that next Monday before your midterm is due, I'll draw your midterm in class. Okay? Before? I'll draw it before it's due so that you can see me do it and then work on it some more, right? That's on the 6th. Yeah, it's not due till the 13th. Okay. So you have a week.
That's a week later.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
So when we start on the midterm, do you want us to start a new Revit file or?
It's up to you. If you feel like the model that you've created is not great, right? You've worked through the problems, you generally know the tools now, and you're like, but my model's kind of not where, there's maybe some things wrong with it, or you could restart it. That's fine with me. But if you feel pretty good about it, then continue on. Yeah.